In the vast expanse of space, humanity had always considered itself alone. We built our cities, explored our solar system, and dreamed of reaching the stars. Never did we imagine that our first contact with alien life would come in the form of a warning that would shake the very foundation of our existence. The message arrived on a quiet Tuesday morning at the Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico. At first, the scientists thought it was just another burst of cosmic radiation, but as the patterns began to form on their screens, their hearts stopped. The transmission was clear, precise, and unmistakably artificial. To the species of Sol 3, cease your expansion beyond your atmospheric boundary. This is your only warning. I remember sitting in my small apartment in Houston, watching the news break across every channel. As the chief communications officer at NASA's Deep Space Network, I had been one of the first to verify the authenticity of the message. The signature matched nothing we had ever seen before, a technology so advanced it made our best computers look like children's toys. The world leaders gathered in an emergency United Nations session, while social media exploded with theories and panic. Some called for immediate surrender, others demanded we stand our ground. But no one, not even our brightest minds, could agree on what to do next. 3 days later, they appeared. Massive ships, each the size of Manhattan, materialized just beyond the moon's orbit. Their hulls seemed to bend light itself, creating an ethereal aurora that illuminated our night sky like a second dawn. The Galactic Empire, as they call themselves, had arrived to enforce their warning. Your species shows promise, their second message stated, but you are dangerous. Your history is stained with conflict, your development too rapid, your ambition too great. For the safety of the galaxy, you must be contained. But they didn't understand us. Humanity had never responded well to being caged. In secret bunkers beneath the Earth's surface, our scientists and military strategists worked tirelessly, analyzing every scrap of data we could gather about our unwelcome visitors. We discovered something fascinating. Their technology, while incredibly advanced, followed patterns we could understand, patterns we could potentially exploit. What happened next would go down in human history as our finest hour. We didn't have their weapons, their ships, or their advanced technology. What we had was something they never expected, creativity born from countless generations of storytelling, problem-solving, and survival against all odds. As I stand here now, looking at the holographic display showing their fleet positions, I can't help but smile. They thought they were being merciful by giving us a warning. They thought we would cower, submit, and accept their dominion over our destiny. They didn't realize that humans don't run from a fight. We prepare for it. The plan is ready. In less than 24 hours, we will show the Galactic Empire why they should have heeded their own advice, why they should have run when they had the chance. Because now, as I prepare to transmit our response to their ultimatum, I know one thing for certain. This isn't just about survival anymore. This is about showing the galaxy that humanity will not be contained. The message I'm about to send is simple, just 3 words that carry the weight of our entire species' determination. Watch us rise. The real question isn't whether we'll survive their response, it's whether they'll survive ours. Because for the first time in their history, the Galactic Empire is about to face something they've never encountered before, human ingenuity. And as I look around at the determined faces in our command center, I know we're ready to show them exactly what that means. The command center buzzed with nervous energy as our message reached the alien fleet. Through our observation arrays, we watched as their massive ships shifted formation, a subtle change that spoke volumes. They weren't expecting defiance. For centuries, they had encountered species that either submitted or were crushed. Humanity would be different. I thought back to the discoveries we made in those frantic first days. Our quantum analysis team had detected microscopic fluctuations in their shield harmonics, a pattern so slight it would have been missed if we hadn't been looking for exactly this kind of vulnerability. It was Dr. Chen who first noticed it, working through 3 sleepless nights until she finally cracked the code. Their perfection, she had said, eyes gleaming with excitement, is their weakness. The Empire's technology was indeed perfect, too perfect. Every system, every response, Every maneuver followed precise mathematical formulas. They had evolved beyond the chaos and improvisation that defined human warfare. In their drive for technological superiority, they had lost something essential: adaptability. Our plan relied on this fundamental difference between our species. While they expected us to either surrender or launch a conventional attack, we had something else in mind. Something that went against every military doctrine, every strategic handbook, every logical approach to warfare. Something beautifully, terrifyingly human. "Sir," Lieutenant Rodriguez called from her station, breaking my reverie. "The Empire's flagship is broadcasting." The massive view screen flickered to life, revealing what we assumed was their commander. The being's form was obscured by shifting patterns of light, but its voice carried clearly through our speakers. "Your response is unexpected," it stated, the translation software struggling to convey the mixture of amusement and contempt in its tone. "Your species continues to perplex us. We have studied your history, your conflicts, your limitations. You cannot hope to prevail." What they didn't understand was that human history wasn't just a record of our limitations. It was a testament to our ability to overcome them. Every great achievement in our past had begun with someone doing what everyone else thought impossible. The next phase of our plan was already in motion. While the Empire's attention was focused on our orbital defenses and military installations, thousands of civilian engineers and hackers worldwide were executing Operation Babel. Each one had memorized a tiny fragment of code, meaningless on its own, but when combined with thousands of others, it would create something unprecedented. "They're scanning our defense grid," Technical Officer Paddle reported, her fingers dancing across her console. "Just as we predicted." I nodded, knowing that what they were seeing was exactly what we wanted them to see: a desperate planet marshaling its primitive weapons for a futile last stand. The truth was far more elegant. Scattered across Earth's surface, ordinary people were pointing ordinary devices at the sky: phones, tablets, satellite dishes, even old radio equipment. Each one was transmitting a seemingly random signal, a tiny piece of digital noise that their perfect systems would automatically filter out as background interference. But in 3 hours, when those signals synchronized, they would combine into something else entirely. Something that would exploit that microscopic flaw in their shield harmonics in a way their perfect, logical systems could never anticipate. We called it the Symphony. As I watched their ships maintain their precise formation, I couldn't help but think about the irony. They had come to contain us because they feared our potential for violence, but it would be our creativity, our music, our art, our ability to find patterns in chaos, that would prove to be our true weapon. The countdown continued, and I could feel the weight of history pressing down on us. Humanity's first interstellar war was about to begin, and we were about to show the galaxy why you should never underestimate a species that had turned survival into an art form. The Symphony was minutes away from activation when our sensors detected movement in the Empire's fleet. Their ships were spreading out in a perfect geometric pattern, like a blooming flower made of starlight and metal. To anyone else, it might have looked beautiful. To us, it was the formation we'd been waiting for. "They're positioning for a full planetary containment," Technical Officer Papel announced, her voice steady despite the tension. On our screens, holographic projections showed the predicted energy web they were about to deploy, a cage of pure force that would trap Earth inside its own atmosphere. Under normal circumstances, it would have been checkmate. But we had learned something crucial about their technology. Their energy fields operated on harmonics so complex they approached pure mathematics, like a symphony of physics. Yet within that perfection lay their vulnerability. Their systems couldn't process true randomness. They had evolved beyond it, seeing chaos as a primitive state to be eliminated. Across the planet, millions of humans held their breath. In homes, shelters, and makeshift bunkers, people clutched their devices, waiting for the signal. Each person was a note in our chaotic orchestra, about to play a part in the greatest concert humanity had ever performed. "Empire flagship is broadcasting again," Lieutenant Rodriguez reported. The alien commander's voice filled our speakers, still carrying that tone of superiority that made my jaw clench. "Your resistance is illogical," it stated. Our containment field will render your civilization immobile. Accept your place in the galactic order. This is the only rational choice." I looked at the countdown timer. 3 minutes remaining. Dr. Chen's team had worked out that we would only get one shot at this. If the symphony failed, their containment field would slam into place, and humanity would become just another species in their collection of controlled civilizations. "Sir," Dr. Chen called from her station, "we're detecting power fluctuations in their shield grid. They're about to start the containment sequence." The Empire's ships began to pulse with energy, their hulls glowing like newborn stars. In that moment, I thought about every story humans had ever told about facing impossible odds. About David and Goliath, about lone ships against armadas, about everyday heroes who changed the course of history. 2 minutes. Around the world, our hidden transmitters powered up. Each one was broadcasting what appeared to be random noise: television signals, radio waves, cell phone chatter, satellite communications. To the Empire's perfect systems, it was background radiation, not even worth filtering. 1 minute. "They've initiated the containment field," Paddle announced. On our screens, we could see the energy web beginning to form. It started as threads of light between their ships, a net of pure energy designed to wrap around our planet like a straitjacket. 30 seconds. The air itself seemed to hum as their technology began to affect our atmosphere. Static electricity made hair stand on end across the globe. The sky took on a purple tinge as the containment field started to manifest. 10 seconds. I thought about everything that had led us to this moment. All our struggles, our innovations, our determination to survive against any odds. The Empire thought they were facing a primitive species. They were about to learn what humanity was truly capable of. Symphony activation in 3, 2, 1. The world held its breath as billions of random signals suddenly aligned into perfect, beautiful chaos. Our greatest weapon wasn't a bomb or a beam or a missile. It was something uniquely human, the power to create order from disorder, to find harmony in randomness. And as the symphony reached its crescendo, the Empire's perfect ships began to shimmer like mirages in a desert heat. The symphony's effect on the Empire's ships was unlike anything we had simulated. Their perfect formations began to waver as our chaos-encoded signals invaded their systems. The containment field, moments away from trapping Earth forever, flickered like a candle in the wind. We had them. Or so we thought. "Sir," Dr. Chen's voice carried an edge of panic I'd never heard before. "They're adapting." Our screens showed impossible readings as the Empire's ships began to pulse with new patterns of energy. They were learning, evolving their perfect systems in real time, something our intel had said was impossible. "The symphony isn't failing," Technical Officer Paddle said, her eyes wide with realization. They're harmonizing with it. The Empire had taken our weapon of chaos and was somehow weaving it into their own orderly systems, creating something entirely new. The alien commander's next transmission came through on all frequencies, its voice now carrying a hint of something that sounded almost like respect. "Your species continues to surprise us. In our 1,000 cycles of expansion, no civilization has ever attempted to use disorder as a weapon. You have forced us to evolve." The massive ships above us began to move in new patterns, ones that defied the mathematical precision we'd come to expect. They were dancing to our chaos, but adding their own melody to it. The sky turned from purple to a deep, swirling crimson as energies we couldn't comprehend rippled through the atmosphere. Multiple signals detected. Lieutenant Rodriguez shouted, "They're coming from everywhere." Our sensors lit up as new signatures appeared throughout the solar system. Hidden Empire ships, thousands of them, emerging from what seemed like folded space itself. We hadn't been facing their main fleet. We'd been facing their scouting party. But something was different about these new arrivals. Their ships moved with a fluidity we hadn't seen before, as if our symphony had awakened something in their entire civilization. The perfect geometric patterns were gone, replaced by flowing, organic movements that seemed to defy physics itself. "They're not attacking," Dr. Chen whispered, staring at her readings. "These energy patterns, they're resonating with the symphony, but they're adding something else, something beautiful." She was right. The Empire's ships weren't launching weapons or reinforcing the containment field. Instead, they were joining our chaotic concert, adding layers of complexity that transformed our desperate defense into something transcendent. The sky above every nation on Earth had become a canvas of light and energy, a dance of order and chaos that no human eye had ever witnessed. The alien commander spoke again, but this time its voice carried none of its former superiority. You have shown us something we had forgotten. In our quest for perfection, we lost the power of imperfection, the strength of adaptation, the beauty of chaos. I felt a chill run down my spine as I realized what was happening. This wasn't just a battle anymore. It was becoming something else entirely. A moment of transformation for both our species. But as the Empire's ships continued their mesmerizing dance above us, a new question burned in my mind. Were they truly accepting our lesson in chaos, or were they leading us into an even more elaborate trap? The answer came in a form none of us expected. From the heart of their fleet, a signal began to pulse, not in their perfect patterns, nor in our chaotic symphony, but in something that combined both. And as our computers decoded its meaning, we realized the true game was only just beginning. The signal pulsing from the Empire's fleet decoded into a message that left us stunned. Your symphony has awakened a truth we had buried beneath millennia of ordered progress. We are not here to contain you. We are here because we need you. As the words appeared on our screens, the massive fleet above us began to shift into a formation we'd never seen before, not a geometric pattern or a chaotic dance, but something between the two, like a living mandala in the sky. Sir, Dr. Chen called out, her voice trembling with excitement, you need to see these readings. The Empire's ships, they're generating energy signatures identical to Earth's historical records. She paused, double-checking her data. These match perfectly with signals recorded at ancient sites like the Pyramids, Stonehenge, and Göbekli Tepe. The revelation hit me like a thunderbolt. The Empire hadn't come to warn us about our potential. They'd come because they recognized it. They weren't our first contact with alien life. They were returning after thousands of years, watching us grow, waiting for us to rediscover something they had lost. The alien commander's next transmission confirmed our theory. Long ago, our civilization achieved perfect order, but in doing so, we lost the spark that gave birth to our greatest achievements. We became living mathematics, precise but sterile. Your species retained what we sacrificed, the ability to dance between chaos and order. On our screens, we watched as the Empire's ships began to pulse in rhythm with Earth's natural electromagnetic field. The symphony we had created as a weapon was transforming into something else, a bridge between our civilizations, our chaos and their order, interweaving to create something entirely new. But just as we began to grasp the magnitude of this moment, our sensors detected an energy surge unlike anything we'd seen before. The space between their ships began to ripple, revealing what looked like tears in the fabric of reality itself. "They're opening portals," Lieutenant Rodriguez announced, her fingers flying across her console. "But the signatures, they're not just spatial coordinates, they're temporal. The Empire wasn't just offering us the stars, they were offering us time itself." The alien commander's final message echoed through our command center. "Your symphony showed us that true advancement lies not in the elimination of chaos, but in the harmony between order and disorder. We offer you not subjugation, but partnership. Together, we will rebuild what was lost, the great network that once connected all sapient species across space and time." As the portals stabilized, we received our first images of what lay beyond them, glimpses of worlds and times that defied imagination. But with this gift came a choice that would define humanity's future. We could step through those portals and join the Empire in their renewed journey, or we could refuse and forge our own path among the stars. Looking around the command center, I saw the same expression on every face. Not fear, not anymore, but determination mixed with wonder. We had prepared for war, but found something far more precious. A chance to be part of something greater than ourselves, while keeping the very things that made us human. I reached for the transmitter, ready to send humanity's response to the Empire's offer. But before I could speak, all our screens suddenly flashed with a new signal, one that made both our symphony and the Empire's harmonics seemed simple in comparison. And in that moment, we realized that neither humanity nor the Empire had been the authors of this story. We had all been players in a much grander design, a design that was about to reveal itself. The new signal pulsed through our systems with a complexity that made our symphony look like a child's nursery rhyme. As our computers struggled to decode it, the Empire's ships moved into a defensive formation, not against us, but around Earth, as if protecting both our civilizations from something far greater. Signal analysis complete, Dr. Chen announced, her voice barely a whisper. It's coming from the sun. Our star, the giver of life that humanity had gazed upon for countless generations, was speaking, not through random solar flares or magnetic storms, but with deliberate, intelligent patterns that dwarfed both human chaos and imperial order. The alien commander's voice returned, now carrying a tone of reverence I never expected to hear from such an advanced being. We suspected, but were never certain. Your star, it's one of the Seeders, the architects who scattered consciousness throughout the galaxy. As if responding to its acknowledgement, the solar signal intensified. Our screens filled with images that told a story as old as the galaxy itself. The Seeders, ancient beings who had transcended physical form, had engineered star systems as vast experiments in evolution. Each star was a guardian, watching over its planets as different forms of intelligence evolved, waiting for the moment when they would be ready to join the cosmic symphony. Earth's chaos and the Empire's order weren't opposing forces. They were two halves of the same equation. Our star had nurtured humanity's creativity and adaptability, while the Empire had perfected logic and structure. Now, it was time for both civilizations to evolve together. The next wave of solar data washed over us like a warm breeze, carrying understanding rather than just information. The portals the Empire had opened weren't just doorways to other places and times. They were the first steps in a grand reconnection, a revival of the Seeders' original network that had once unified all conscious beings. Lieutenant Rodriguez's console lit up with new readings. The sun's energy patterns, they're matching perfectly with the harmonics created by our symphony and the Empire's response. It's like they're completing a circle that began billions of years ago. In that moment, I understood why the Empire had really come to Earth. Not to contain us, not even to learn from us, but to help fulfill a destiny written in starlight. Together, our civilizations would become something new, neither bound by perfect order nor lost in pure chaos, but free to dance between both. The command center erupted in gasps as the sun released a final pulse of energy. The sky above Earth transformed into a cathedral of light, with the Empire's ships acting as conduits for solar power beyond our comprehension. Through the portals, we could see other stars across the galaxy performing the same dance, awakening other civilizations to their true potential. As humanity's representative, I finally sent our response, not just to the Empire, but to our star, our true ancient guardian. We understand now. We're ready. The alien commander's final transmission carried something that sounded remarkably like joy. Then let us begin, not as separate species, not as order versus chaos, but as children of the stars, finally coming home. And so, humanity's first war with the Galactic Empire never really happened. Instead, we found something far more precious, our place in a universe more wonderful and mysterious than we had ever imagined. As I look up at the sky now, watching our combined fleets prepare for our first journey through the stellar network, I can't help but smile. We had prepared for an ending, but instead, we discover the most amazing beginning. Because sometimes, the greatest victories come not from fighting the battles we expect, but from being brave enough to embrace the impossible when it presents itself.